With Black Friday on the way, there's sales upon sales upon sales. It is not hard to find a deal when every company is sending out daily emails, blasting the internet with advertisements, and every other YouTuber, just like me, is talking about their favorite deals all month long. But what upgrades to your streaming or gaming PC do you actually need? Now, I understand that times are tough for everybody. Prices have been fluctuating like crazy. If you've only got the budget to upgrade one single component, let's figure out what's going to give you the best performance upgrade. Let's jump right in. First and foremost, I want to get this out of the way right away, that you should be running your operating system and games off of a solid state drive, not one of those old spinning platter hard drives. If you have one of those for other storage, that's completely fine. But run your OS and your games off of a solid state drive. Without doing any other checks, I can almost guarantee you that if you have an old spinning platter hard drive, that is probably your bottleneck right now. Get rid of those hard drives, repurpose them, and get yourself an NVMe drive. And if you are already one of those absolutely beautiful, technically knowledgeable gamers or streamers that has an NVMe drive in their PC already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. You won't regret it. Cheers. All right, let's jump into what everyone is here for. What GPU should you be buying over Black Friday? Do you even need to upgrade your GPU? Before you go out and buy the first graphics card that you can find, ask yourself these questions, because chances are that graphics card was just marked up the day before it came back down on sale to be a doorbuster price. Number one, are you happy with the performance of the games that you're currently playing? Number two, are you looking to upgrade to a higher resolution monitor? Number three, is your GPU more than 7 years old? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you might be in the market for a new graphics card. If not, if you're happy with the current performance in the games that you play, there's really not much of a reason to upgrade your GPU. If all you play is Fortnite, Counter-Strike, Rocket League, League of Legends, and you're content with the 100 FPS that you're currently getting out of your GTX 1070, then honestly, save your money and go buy yourself your favorite six-pack to celebrate. But if you're noticing that stuttering, the lag, the low FPS, or maybe you just want to upgrade to a 1440p monitor, or you want to try to play Borderlands 4 at 720p at low settings, then we should probably start looking for a new GPU. If you're on a budget but looking for a new 5000 series NVIDIA graphics card, I would recommend checking out the 5060 Ti, but specifically only the 16 gigabyte model. As far as AMD goes, I really think that the 9070 XT is probably the card that you should be looking at, especially if you're moving up to 1440p, especially if you're a streamer or some other kind of content creator. Otherwise, I think the 5060 Ti from NVIDIA is probably some of the best bang for your buck right now. And if that is the card that you're looking for, make sure you check this full PC guide I put together a little bit earlier this year to build your entire PC around that graphics card. So we've talked about a couple of components so far, and I wanted to mention this. If you don't need to upgrade your GPU and it will still support it, I highly recommend a monitor upgrade. If you're still using a 1080p 60 Hz refresh rate monitor from 10 years ago, grab something a little newer. You will not regret it. Not only are monitors some of the things that probably have some of the best sales during these Black Friday and Prime Day type of deals, but the technology just keeps getting better and better, and prices just keep going down farther and farther. Look at what types of game you play, what resolution your graphics card is best at supporting, and get a monitor that matches your needs. Check out Tom's Hardware. It has great charts for checking average GPU FPS. And if they don't have your GPU listed on there, just find a comparable model and see if it's best at 1080p, if it'll run 1440p at all. And if you're playing some of those competitive esports titles, like I mentioned before, maybe sticking with a 1080p monitor with a super high refresh rate makes some of the most sense. All I know is that upgrading your monitor is something that will be so instantaneously noticeable that it's actually the thing that you're staring at while you're playing those marathon sessions. So do yourself a favor and get a halfway decent monitor. Now, I also wanted to mention that I will have a handful of Amazon affiliate links down below. If you are in the market for buying something, I would appreciate you using one of those links. But just as a reminder, during these crazy holidays, if you are ordering a lot of stuff off of Amazon, make sure you use somebody's Amazon affiliate code. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps the creator, the person whose code you're using. So if it's not me, go find your best friend, go find your favorite creator, use their Amazon affiliate code, and they'll get credit, and it doesn't cost you anything more. All right, let's get real here for just a second. Here is the thing. I can sit here and tell you what components to upgrade all day long, but your system is unique. So I want you to drop a comment right now with your current specs. CPU, GPU, RAM, the whole setup, as much detail as you want. Tell me what games you're playing, if you stream or create any other types of content, and I'm gonna do my best to respond to every single comment and tell you exactly what I think your best upgrade would be for your PC. And honestly, feel free to help each other out there too. Drop those tips for your fellow builders out there. All right, if you are happy with your monitor and just don't have the hardware to support a higher resolution yet, let's take a look at some of the other PC components that might be worth upgrading. Let's talk about CPUs for just a second. You might consider a CPU upgrade if your CPU is from around 2019-ish or older. First, because chances are it won't natively support Windows 11. Now, there are some pretty simple registry keys that you can add to get kind of around that. Honestly, Google is your friend here. I suggest this mostly because Windows 10 has officially ended support now. It's time to upgrade to Windows 11. I know that you don't want to, nobody wants to, but it's time. Honestly, if you've got a CPU that's 6 or 7 years old anyways, it might not be a terrible time to upgrade, not only because of Windows though. CPU prices actually aren't too bad right now. The most difficult part about upgrading your CPU though is that typically if you're upgrading to something way newer, you're basically upgrading your whole system. If the CPU is using a different socket, you'll need a new motherboard, you'll need new RAM, most likely a new CPU cooler. So it can definitely turn into a big upgrade pretty quick. If you're on an absolute major budget, but you want to get as many frames as possible, just do an internet search for your CPU plus socket. And this is gonna let you know exactly what socket your motherboard supports. Then just search for best CPU for socket. If you're running an Intel 7th generation i3 processor, maybe you can find a 9th generation i7 or i9 on the used market that can get you a few extra cores, and that's something that will fit into the socket that your motherboard already has. All right, something good transition to talk about RAM. I think I was supposed to update that. RAM is an interesting component right now because it's been going up in price right now, most likely due to the dwindling DDR4 quantities, more people upgrading to DDR5, and lots of new AI data centers being built all across the world that want a lot of RAM. So how do you know if you need more RAM? Well, here's a quick chart. If you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, buy whatever you can. Hurry, just get more RAM. 8 gigabytes is not enough. Check out how much your PC actually supports, then try to buy sticks that match your current kit and add them to it. Depending on how many sticks you already have in your computer, if you already have 4 sticks, you might have to just upgrade everything. But if you can upgrade to 16, at least 32 gigabytes would be the ideal amount, is what I think. If you have 32 gigabytes or more, you are probably good to go. I wouldn't worry about it. You should be good for a while, unless you're doing some of that crazy AI stuff, you're doing 3D modeling, you're running a lot of virtual machines. 32 gigabytes is a sweet spot right now. If you have 16 gigabytes, really kind of depends on what you want out of your system. If you are streaming, gaming, running Discord, OBS, Spotify, and everything else that comes along with streaming, I'd probably recommend picking up another 16 gigabytes worth, especially before prices go up anymore. If you're just having fun gaming and you haven't noticed any performance degradation, then you're probably fine for right now. But keep this in mind for the next couple of years of these kinds of sales. If you do see a good price, 32 gigabytes is the sweet spot. If you can get there, you'll be good for a while. Okay, those are the components that you really need to be looking at if you're hoping to get better performance. You'll most likely be able to find some deals on power supplies, CPU coolers, and cases, but those are more aesthetic types of choices. If your CPU is running at normal temps, there's no real need to get a new CPU cooler unless you just want to upgrade from a tower fan to an AIO liquid cooler for that kind of look to your computer. If you are in the market for a new AIO though, I just made a video on this one right here, the Hyperflow Digital from Montech. It's on my personal machine and I've been absolutely loving it, and it's not that expensive either. So make sure you go and check out that video right here. We'll see you over there. Cheers.